Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the Election Dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw.
Okay, Panish. So in case you're just joining us, you are tuning into Election Room ZW here on Open Parley. My name is Lynette Manzini. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know in the comment section where you are tuning in from. We are all waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to release the results. Earlier on, when we crossed over with our reporter Takunda, he was telling us that ZEC is getting ready, preparing the auditorium so that they can release the results. So Zimbabweans all over the world, Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe, Zimbabweans abroad are waiting for those results as we speak. Council results have been coming in, National Assembly results have been coming in, but everyone is waiting for the presidential results. And as it, as is the norm, it's a horse race. Although there were 11 presidential candidates in this race, the two horse races between ZANU-PF's president Emerson Mnangagwa, Citizens Coalition for Change president Nelson Chamisa. So we are we are just waiting for ZEC to release those results. We currently have our reporters stationed at the National Command Center. They are in the auditorium as we speak, and we'll be crossing over to them because we do not know what time ZEC is going to release these results, but we are still expectant that they will do it any moment from now. So, ZEC has not been forthcoming with information. They have been blacking out the media, especially the private media. They're only speaking to ZBC and Star FM. We do hope that they're going to let us know what time they're going to start, but the media is waiting for ZEC to announce those results. If I can just go into the comment section and let us know what you think. How long have you been waiting for these results? What do you think, will be the verdict? I'm not announcing any results here, but let us know in the comment section. The elections were held on the 23rd of August, 2023, and some polling stations didn't manage some voters didn't manage to vote because they ran out of ballot paper, or the ballot paper were not delivered on time. So the election spilled over into the 24th of August, which means we had these elections over 2 days. And then when this was done, a day later, which was yesterday, observer missions such as the Commonwealth, COMESA observer mission, your EU observer mission, your AU, that's your African Union, SADC observer mission, then gave preliminary reports. They had a press conference with the media gathered, and they issued their preliminary reports, and their preliminary reports were similar. ZANU-PF in their press conference responding to this issue, actually they were complaining that the reports are similar, and what the reports revealed is exactly what our reporters have been reporting since election day, what the viewers have been complaining about in the comment section. You have been highlighting some of these issues. So we are waiting for the presidential results. Pakin, thank you very much for joining us. Pakin, this is Munuwese Kunes Aid. Why are you saying this, Pakin? Is your candidate not winning in this election? Kennedy, thank you very much for joining us. Kennedy says EDP. Are you sure that ED is going to win these elections? But we don't have the results. We're waiting upon AZEC to release those results. So any moment from now, we'll be crossing over. If you can see on the screen, just by the side there, that's where our reporters are waiting. That's the auditorium where the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission commissioners are going to be sitting right there in the front, and they will be releasing those results. So Costina, thank you very much for joining us. So Costina says, why TV yenyu iri yellow kureva takatochitora chino ichi. This is making me laugh, but this has always been the color of Open Pali. Open Pali has always been yellow. Triple C actually stole our color. So thank you very much, so Christina, for that comment. Let's move on to the next comment. So in case you're just joining us, we're waiting for the result. Any moment from now, ZEC will be releasing the presidential results. So we just waiting for ZEC to begin announcing those results. As you can see right there in the small screen, our reporter is there just on standby, waiting for those results to be announced. Nicholas, thank you very much for joining us. Nicholas says that Zekia Birira, I don't know what that is. Oh, Zekia Birira, my elections. Thank you very much, Nicholas. I'm not thanking you for saying that Zekia Birira, my elections, but I'm thanking you for joining us. So why do you think that Zek Yabirira my elections? Say Urkuti Zekia Birira my elections. Let us know in the comment section. But just to go back to what the observer said that the Zek, the election management running of the election failed to meet the standards, the regional and international standards. So there's a bare minimum that ZEC was supposed to at least meet for this election to meet those results. But EU did not certify the elections. They said that their role is not to certify elections, but just to ensure that they are meeting the set standard. SADC said that they are falling short of the regional standards. We have Nyasha. Thank you very much, Nyasha, for joining us. Nyasha Arkuti, I can't read the first word, but 10 Wani Kubana 7 here. Okay, you are saying, maybe you're asking why results might be announced at 10 p.m. Since 7. We were also waiting for these results. We had been told that ZEC would start at 7 p.m. They keep changing goalposts, but we are here waiting to ensure that we give you that information first. Our reporters are there at the command center waiting to ensure that you get this coverage. So as you can see here on the screen, the media are actually waiting. If you recognize Mary, this is our reporter, Mary, and I think the others, I can't see them in the screen, but they are waiting to ensure that you get this information here first on Open Pali as ZW in the election room. So we have Dizzy. Dizzy, thank you very much for joining us. ZEC is taking long since V11s don't match. I suppose so, because you could be right. We really don't know what's going on because they're not informing us. Like I mentioned earlier on, whenever they do not communicate, the grapevine kicks in. And now Daisy is thinking that, assuming that the V11s are not matching, and earlier the ZEC called upon the presidential candidates and their chief agents to come to the command center to collate the results. So that, I think, I don't know if that has ended, but I'm sure it has. We are now waiting for ZEC to announce those results. We have another message here from perseverance. Taba ZBC. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. We don't know what ZBC is doing, but thank you very much, Perseverance, for joining us. Charles, thank you, Charles. Charles says, I think as it stands now, Open Pali SADC has done a good thing in intervening so seriously in our elections. They are playing their role in a very good way. We as Zimbabweans appreciate Dr. Neves Mumba for his work. These are your sentiments, Charles, but ZANU-PF is not too happy about that. They were blaming him for getting his report from Nelson Chamisa, the Triple C president. They accuse him of, not representing what the entire SADC mission is saying, and saying that he's suggesting that he got his script from Nelson Chamisa. But thank you for that comment. And indeed, they said that the election fell short. The way it was managed, the way it was run, fell short of international and regional standards. And if we can just go back to the issue of the nomination court, SADC actually said that ZEC needed to sit down, call upon all stakeholders, sit down and have a conversation around what needs to happen, especially in reducing these nomination fees. Remember, the presidential candidates in this election needed 20,000 United States dollars as opposed to 1,000 in the previous election. MP candidates in this election needed $1,000 as opposed to $100 in this election. And many say that this was exclusionary. Young people could not participate because it was way out of reach for many. And there were organizations such as Magamba Network, Your Lead, my apologies, Magamba Network and Your We Lead. They actually wrote a letter to ZEC, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. They petitioned Parliament in regards to this issue, suggesting that young people are unable to participate in these elections as candidates because the nomination fee has been hiked and it was out of the reach of many. Remember, the population, 60% of the population in Zimbabwe, over 60%, is made up of young people, and they are in the informal sector. Many are not formally employed and cannot afford, and this now leaves this issue around political participation for people with money. Only the elite can participate in these elections. This is why they petitioned Parliament and wrote a letter to the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. We have another message here, Varakashi for ED Marondera. Is this an actual I'm just wondering, is this the branch for Varakashi for ED? But thank you very much for joining us. Varakashi for ED says, Pamba ED, are you confident that Emerson Mnangagwa will be winning this election? But you are definitely confident there. Thank you very much for joining us. If we can move on, we have Prince. Prince is saying that hoping for a new Zimbabwe loading. So, the audience is split. There are some that are supporting Emerson Mnangagwa, the ZANU-PF president. There are some who are also supporting the Triple C president, Nelson Chamisa. But ZEC will give us the verdict today. ZEC will let us know what's actually happening. As you can see behind me, this is a picture of the high table in the auditorium where our journalists, our reporters are stationed. And this is where the commissioners are expected to sit as they announce the results tonight. So if it's going to take 10 hours, ZEC, we are waiting for you. Will not tire the same way that you, the voters, were resilient. You stood out and waited for the ballot papers to ensure that you exercise your constitutional right. Now, this is the final leg of this race, and you have to wait for ZEC to give those results, to make that announcement tonight. So earlier on, journalists were called to, we heard that the president, Emerson Mnangagwa, wanted to hold a press conference at the State House, and our reporters and other journalists rushed to the State House. And then when they got there, they heard that they had canceled the press conference. Upon leaving, a couple of minutes later, they recalled the journalists again and they went to the State House. And then later we heard that the President Emerson Mnangagwa will issue his press statement after ZEC announces the results. We don't know what he was calling the journalists for, what he wants to address. But we are still, waiting for that. And I'm sure it will happen after ZEC announces the results tonight. We have a comment here from Shell. Thank you very much, Shelton. Shelton says, Mukomana has kupinda hake. Well, we all know that, but change would be a good thing for Zimbabwe right now. Why have you taken this position, Shell? Why do you think that Mukomana has kupinda? Inga Mukomana akataura akati gedhe rakavhurika gore rino ananzi rwendo runo ndinogohwesa negotsi. So let us know why you think that haapinde this time, Shelton. Please let us know. Please get into the comment section and let us know. Bella says, thank you very much, Bella, for joining us. Bella says, I voted for change. New Zimbabwe is loading. So we're literally downloading a new application. Everybody says New Zimbabwe is loading. I'm going to make sure I download that application on my break. Thank you very much, Bella, for that. So let us know as well in the comment section where you are tuning in from. Would like to know where you're tuning in from and what you are expecting as ZEC to announce. Some are saying Nelson Chamisa is winning this election, but others think he's not. Others are saying that Emerson Mnangagwa is winning this election. Do you think that it's Emerson Mnangagwa? What if Love More Maduku emerges the winner in this election? So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room here on Open Party. My name is Lynette Manzini, and we are waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to announce the presidential results. So let's hang in there. We managed to hang in there for over 24 hours on the 23rd before ballot papers could be delivered at polling stations. ZEC has been changing goalposts. Initially, we thought they will make this announcement around 7 p.m., but we will hang in there until they do. Joe, thank you very much for joining us. John says, tuning in from Pretoria, South Africa. Thank you very much, Joe, for joining us. I hope you came home, voted, and went back to South Africa to wait for those results. Thank you very much. So yes, let's keep those comments coming in. As you can see, the other screen. I don't know whether to say my left, your right. I don't even remember where my left and right is, but that's a picture from the command center where our reporters are stationed, and they are waiting for ZEC to announce the results. As you can see there, that's the podium right there in the front. That's where the commissioners are going to sit. And it seems like, how many seats are those? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seats up there. And they will be announcing those results. You can see that there are, individuals in there wearing media jackets. That's the media waiting for this process to start. They've been there since 5. They thought that was going to happen earlier on. Our reporters have been there since election day, since the 23rd, but ZEC has not been responsive. They have not been communicating with private media. They've been communicating with ZBC and Star FM, but we are still hopeful that they are going to speak to us. But international journalists, local journalists are all in that auditorium waiting for ZEC to announce the results. We have Vimbai there. Vimbai says, ndiri pauzumba ndichiti hatina kumbowanda zvakadaro isu kuno. Muri vangani kona ivi mbaitiudzawo mucomment section kuti kuzumba muri vangani. Thank you very much, Vimbai, for that. And joining me on screen is our reporter, Mary, who's joining us from the command center. Good evening, Mary.
Good evening, Lynette. Good evening, viewers.
Yes, thank you very much, Mary. I know that earlier on you were covering the elections for persons with disabilities. How did that go? I remember when you updated us earlier on, you were talking about how the process was not smooth, how voters failed to get a voter's roll a day before for them to check their names, how the nomination process was delayed. The process was supposed to start at 7 a.m., but started a bit late. Keep us up to speed with what happened later.
Good evening, viewers. Once again, like what I mentioned a little bit earlier when I joined the stream, the process was delayed around. By the time it was around 11, people were still getting into the auditorium where the voting was supposed to take place. A development which has led to the polls to be currently underway at this time of the night when they were supposed to have ended at 7 p.m. Lynette. The people who were not able to get into the auditorium are still outside, stranded, wondering on what the next step is. But the voting process has since commenced, and we'll be getting an update as soon as I get off from the auditorium.
Still underway since 7 a.m. this morning. Persons with disabilities are still voting, and that's very unfortunate. And talk to us about the confusion. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the ZANU-PF president, who's seeking re-election, calls for a press conference at the State House, then cancels it. Maybe tell the viewers, they might think that I'm making this up, but you were in the field. Tell us what happened.
All right, so we actually left the command center in a rush when we were told that there was going to be an address by the incumbent president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, at the State House. And when we got there, we were told to wait at a particular area. No journalist managed to pass through the security. We waited. Only to have an update, I think in about 10 or 15 minutes of waiting, that the press conference was cancelled. And we had to rush back to the command center where we left the SEC team preparing the auditorium and the setup behind me, where we were hoping to get an update as far as the presidential election results are concerned tonight. However, after several minutes of being back at the command center, we received a message that the press conference was back on again, and we left in a hurry, went back to State House, where we waited for about 10 minutes, and we were let in. We went through security, and we were later told by Major General Mutambudzi that the press conference by His Excellency was going to be after ZEC had given a statement. And if we had teams that were big enough, we were supposed to divide so that some go back to the command center, whilst others wait for the address that is scheduled to take place as soon as the ZEC update comes through. So we had to go back to the command center.
Do you have an idea of what he wanted to address in that press conference? Because everyone right now is waiting for the presidential results. We can't wait. I can't wait myself to hear these results. Do you have a sense of what maybe President Emmerson Mnangagwa wanted to address during that press conference?
The first time when we went there, we thought it was going to be a response in regards to the reports that were tabled yesterday by the various observations. But when we were told that his address will come soon after the ZEC address, which we are currently waiting for, we're a little bit confused. And, social media is awash with reports that maybe he already knows the result, and probably he would want to say thank you for voting for me to the Republic of Zimbabwe or something of that sort. We are not sure, Lynette. We can only wait and find out.
At this point, it's just speculation, and I totally agree with some of your assumptions. When I heard that it had been cancelled and we're going to wait for ZEC to come in with the results, and I was like, why would he want to address the press right after ZEC? What if he loses the election? But you never know with these things. But thank you very much. But before you go, let's talk about where you are right now. I mean, yesterday when we had a conversation around the same time last night, they were setting up their banner. We saw, I think there were 2 women who were setting up the banner right there by the podium. In the afternoon, I spoke to Taku, who was there at the command center expecting Zek to speak to the media. And, they were still setting up, making sure that everything looks A-okay, but I don't know whether the results are A-okay. And, until now, nothing yet has happened. What have you heard from Zek? Maybe if you can just let us know.
At the moment, we haven't received an official address as members of the media that are gathered here at the National Command Center. However, according to reports from the Electoral Commission that they put on Twitter, they said presidential polling agents, among other electoral observers, are in the process of witnessing the coloration of results that is currently underway upstairs as we speak. So we know that the numbers are being added or subtracted somewhere, and we can only wait to hear what the final result will be later on.
Indeed, they're being added somewhere, and we totally hope that this represents the view of the voters. But thank you very much, Mary. We will be crossing over to you again, just so that you can give us an update. Please, if you hear anything, if you see any commissioner, please jump in front of them and go live and let us know why they're delaying these results. We are camped here in the studio tonight, just waiting for those results to be released. I can see my other colleagues in the background giving me an eye. I can see it from the corner of my eye, but thank you very much, Mary.
All right, thank you so much, Lynette.
Thank you. So that's our reporter, Mary, joining us, from the auditorium live at the command center that's at the HICC here in Harare. And that's where the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is expected to release the results of the presidential race. So in this race, there were 11 presidential candidates. You have your Emerson Mnangagwa representing ZANU-PF, Nelson Chamisa representing Citizens Coalition for Change. You have your Joseph Makamba-Busha representing Free Zim Congress. You have your Harry Peter Wilson representing your Democratic Official Party. You have your Love More Maduku representing the NCA, that's your National Constitutional Assembly. These are some of the candidates, and we have the only female presidential candidate in this race, and that's Elizabeth Valerio, and she's representing the United Zimbabwe Alliance. We are, I know that on the ballot, MDC President Douglas Monzora is on the ballot, but he had withdrawn his candidature. But Zek said that according to the law, he was supposed to withdraw 21 days before the elections, but unfortunately, so they couldn't remove his name from there. We had an independent candidate in this election on the 21st of June, the nomination court, that was Xavier Kasukuere. He was running as an independent candidate, but his candidature was challenged by Lovedale Mangwana, and he was later disqualified. He was disqualified from participating as a presidential candidate in this race. So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room here on Open Party. Let us know in the comment section what you're feeling. How are you feeling right now? Zek's the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission making you wait for so long. Remember, they're still within the legal time frame to release these results. So they have until Monday, the 29th, to release these results. So if they say they're going to release them today, we better be patient. We certainly hope that this is going to happen tonight. Everyone is eager to get these results. So let's just go back to the comment section. Let us know what you think about this election. Robert, thank you very much, Robert, for joining us. Robert says ED already knows the results. That's why he wants a presser after Zek announcement. Why do you think so, Robert? Please, I want to look, we want another comment from you in the comment section. Let us know why you think that he already knows the results. Maybe he wants to thank Zimbabweans for giving him an opportunity of leading them, since 2017. Who knows? But your guess is as good as mine. And Tony there, thank you very much, Tony, for joining us. Tony says, this might be a trap to distract a journalist. Maybe they're up to something whilst you're all waiting at one place. Who knows? But we're optimistic that, they're just dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's and getting ready to release those results this evening. Thank you very much, Tony. If we can have the next comment. So just in case you are not aware, the picture behind me, this is, a view of journalists who are all, making sure that they have, they're capturing, they have a good view of the auditorium right now. The commissioners will be so in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room here on Open Parley. Thank you very much for joining us. Shadrach, thank you very much, Shadrach, for joining us. Shadrach says, Mwana akafoira anoviga report. I hope you get me. No, I don't get you, Shadrach. I refuse to get you, but let me know in the comment section what that means. Anzina Shadrach, Mwana akafoira anoviga report. I don't know what you're suggesting. And then we have Chikasha. Thank you very much, Chikasha, for joining us. Chikasha says, I hope this is a good word, but Chikasha says, tsepete. I don't know what tsepete means, but I'm going to thank you anyway for joining us and, for sharing your comments with us. We have Simbarasha there. Simbarasha, thank you for joining us. Simbarasha says, Zimbabwean election is not free and fair. In rural areas, they force people to vote in favor of them. And it's very unfortunate. This has been the trend for a very long time, the issue around intimidation, frog marching of voters to go and vote. In the past, the chiefs would literally have a list of their villagers and then frog march them to go to the polling stations,
From the
sorry about that. So the voters have been frog marched in the past, and then now there's a new system. There's Forever Associates Zimbabwe, and they have tables close to the polling stations where they are taking down names of individuals before they go into the polling station to vote, and taking down their names again and their ID numbers after they vote. They say that they're conducting an exit poll. We certainly hope that the results of this poll will be released for everyone, to benefit, because obviously, they were just taking details from all those who, and especially in the rural areas, this is where it happened. Why didn't we see them doing that in urban areas? I went to vote at my polling station. I didn't see them. But what I know is that they visited my polling station. They were, because if you were a journalist or an observer, they would give you a register to fill in. And when I filled it in, because I wanted to capture a few images in the polling station, they asked me to sign the register. And I noticed that individuals from FARS, I think 2 or 3, had visited that polling station. So FARS was accredited by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission as observers in this election, yet other civil society organizations were not allowed. They were not given permission to observe this election. What is ZEC hiding? Are they hiding anything? We also, remember, have 40 civil society leaders, staffers from Zimbabwe Election Support Network and the Election Resource Center, who were arrested at 9 p.m. on election day. That was on the 23rd. The computers, the phones they were using were all taken in by the police, and they appeared before the court yesterday. And they're currently out on bail. Blessing says ED fair. Blessing is hopeful that ED is going to win at this election. So we'll wait for ZEC, because ZEC has the final say. It's their mandate to announce the winner of this election. All this that, these comments that you're bringing are your predictions. Maybe it's your bias, rather, if I might say, but the results will be tallied and announced by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. Webster, thank you for joining us. Webster, Hansina Webster, mosvika rini muchingoti pamberi musingasvike takuda mukomana. You can't wait. Manonokero akane kunzwa results kunzwa kuti mukomana apinde here, opinda here mukomana. And some are saying EDP. Thank you very much, Webster, for that. Let's move on to the next comment. So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room here on Open Party. My name is Lynette Manzini, and we are still waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to announce the presidential results. So tonight seems to be the night where we will be getting the presidential results. We certainly can't wait. There's so much excitement here in the studio. If I could name names, I would have named one person who is looking forward to these results. Someone in front of me is actually doing the happy dance, but I don't know whether their candidate is going to win. And how are you feeling at home? Are you looking forward to these results? Are you hopeful? What are you expecting in today's results announcement? Do you think that your candidate is going to win? We also had a poll. I hope we can get a screenshot of that poll on Twitter, on Open Party. We asked, the followers what they thought, because, the issue around the election being free and fair, the process being marred with irregularities. The question we asked was, if Nelson Chamisa were to win these elections, should he accept the results? Because the process has been marred with a lot of irregularities, and I hope that the tech team can help pull that up for us so that I can show you the results of that poll. We have Blessed there. Blessed, thank you very much for joining us. Blessed said the worst rigged election. It was a sham. All observers noted it. It lacks legitimacy, hence it will end in the courts. ZEC spokesperson Muchangwa just put, if we can go back to the previous message, I was not done reading that. But here is another comment here from Mare. Mare, thank you very much. Mare says, EDP, but akuda, akubuda, akarumwa nenyuchi. Okay, EDP, but akubuda akarumwa nenyuchi. Okay, thank you. So I just want to go over a Blessed comment. Blessed comment reads, the worst rigged election. It was a sham. All observers noted it. It lacked legitimacy, hence it will end in the courts. ZEC spokesperson Muchangwa just putting the icing on the cake. So Muchangwa is not the spokesperson for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. So when Muchangwa held that press conference, he was representing the party, which is ZANU-PF. And you say it's the worst, and a majority of the people I have spoken to also share your sentiments. They say this is the only election where ballots were printed on the same day, where ballots ran out as voters were eager to vote. This is the only election so far in Zimbabwe where people had to wait for hours on end before, the polling station began. And the observers actually noted it during their press conference when they were releasing their preliminary reports. They said ZEC had assured them that according to the law, they had ensured that all the polling stations were equipped with ballot booths and ballot boxes and ballot papers. But on election day, we realized that this was not the case, especially in Harare and Bulawayo. And ZEC actually issued a statement highlighting that on the 23rd of August 2023, only 23% of polling stations in Harare had opened on time. So these had the requisite material, but the rest did not have. I remember in Budiriro, after waiting for over 10 hours, the residents there, the voters there were chanting, Bepa, Bepa, excited when the ballot paper came there. I also saw videos on the feed ZW of people gathered. I think it was a primary school because I could see chairs, classroom chairs, and they had actually started their own fire, saying it was cold throughout the night. They braved the cold throughout the night and sat there. They were burning plastic, but if I could meet them, I'll tell them that it's not too good for the environment. Climate change is upon us. Let's not burn plastic. But anyway, they braved out that cold and were stationed at their polling station to ensure that they exercise their constitutional right. So the picture right there also on the screen is the auditorium where we are expecting the commissioners to assemble, sit at the high table and release the results. So we're waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to release the results. So any moment from now, we are expecting them to release those results. So Victor says, Mangwana munu wese holiday mukomana apinda. I'm so excited about the holiday part, but I don't know what's going to happen tonight. But Mangwana munu wese ku holiday mukomana apinda. Apana anofana kuyenda kubasa ngapinde hake mkomana. So Victor is literally saying tomorrow should be declared a holiday after Zimbabwe Electoral Commission announces Chamisa as the winner. So he's hopeful. I even spoke to the Triple C a spokesperson, Promise Mukwananzi, after, that attempted abduction during their press conference. And I asked him, should, the Triple C leader accept the results if he wins? And he said, and his response was not if he wins, but when he wins. They are so confident that he's going to win in this election. And ZANU PF is also confident that they are winning in this election. So the only referee is ZEC, and ZEC will give us the verdict. What we voted for, we certainly hope that the people's voice and their sentiments will be represented today by the results that we are all waiting for. We have Tafadzwa. Tafadzwa, thank you very much for joining us. Tafadzwa, Hanzina Tafadzwa, akango wina idi ku South Africa ndokuziva. You know what, I don't want to laugh, but that actually sounds funny. He's saying that he knows the way to South Africa. If ED wins this election, is running away. I think this speaks to, the lack of trust he has in ED. It means that the economy is not going to improve. And the only way to feed his family and, to earn a decent living for himself is going to South Africa. So we want a president that's ready to work for, to kickstart the economy, to jumpstart it. It's like this economy is like a flat battery. It has run out of power and it just needs to be jump-started. And we hope that the right candidate wins this election. Whoever wins the election should jumpstart the economy so that we can now create jobs and ensure that we are producing. We have become a net, we have become an importing country. Very little production is done. And when it comes to minerals, we have vast mineral resources. You've got your gold, your lithium, your platinum. But what happens? Some walk, through the airport. I mean, the gold mafia released this. They just put gold into their bags and just walk as if they're carrying their luggage. The scanners obviously might see this, but maybe because money has exchanged hands. They just walk through. And the Gold Mafia documentary also revealed that millions of dollars are coming into a bag, and some, men of the cloth were bragging that they can even carry a human being inside a duffel bag and nobody will stop them. So these are some of the issues. So young people are frustrated, especially about jobs. There is a high unemployment rate in this country. The economy is literally, dominated by the informal sector. This is why majority of the times when policies are implemented, they do not work because who are you announcing these policies to or implementing them for? Because majority of the people are unaffected and they're in the informal sector. So if you have a backyard kitchen where Zimra is unable to collect the tax, they don't bank their money, because they don't trust the banking system. These are some of the issues. So I think people are also hoping for a leader who's going to be able to revive that trust, to build that trust between the banks, the money, and the people. And when it comes to trust, the observers also highlighted this problem. They said that there is lack of trust between stakeholders and the court. There is that issue around the court being captured, and also ZEC doing the bidding for ZANU-PF. And they also highlighted that the relationship between CSOs in this particular election have decreased has deteriorated as opposed to the previous elections. Remember, there were 40 members of civil society that were arrested on election day, that staffers from ERC, the Election Resource Center, and the Zimbabwe Election Support Network. They were released yesterday after appearing before the court. They will be in court again next week. Liam, thank you very much for joining us. Liam says we don't have problem to who's going to win the elections, but chikumbire is to know that a value local currency, not bond paper isingashandi. Here I'm going to speak for myself and say I agree with you, Liam. This is very important. I think in terms of our currency, we've become a laughing stock. Nobody wants local currency. You cannot use our currency anywhere, and you're not even proud to bring it out. 1 minute you have the bond paper, next we're using RTGS. One time it's 1-to-1. The Zim dollar is equivalent 1:1 is the US dollar. The next minute it's 10,000, and now there are gold coins. All these things in the mix. There is lack of trust between those that are implementing these policies, especially because they are shifting the goalposts here and there, and also an environment that's conducive for business. They always talk about, attracting investors. How do you attract investors when you flip-flop in regards to policy? So the policy flip-flopping as well. Businesses don't have time to adjust, because today you have this policy. It actually takes them a month or so before they can get the hang of that particular policy, and then something else kicks in. So the flip-flopping is affecting business, and here Liam is asking that whoever wins, RTGS. And then we have Zimuto. Thank you very much, Zimuto, for joining us. Zimuto says, Zeki yomirirwa nezanu kupindura sadaki hai. Okay, Zeki yomirirwa nezanu kupindura sadak haya. That's very interesting, because ZEC here is the election management body. They're the ones who are running the elections. They're supposed to be, they're a Chapter 5 institution, and they're supposed to be an independent institution. There have been accusations that it's not an independent institution, it's doing the bidding of ZANU-PF. And then yesterday, after the observer missions gave a report on ZEC's performance, the electoral environment, ZANU-PF held a press conference. The ZANU-PF-led government held a press conference responding to the issues that were directed, I guess, to ZEC, why were they responding on behalf of ZEC? If they do, if ZEC is an independent institution, ZEC should have been given an opportunity to respond by themselves. But this is what's going on. And Pride, thank you very much for joining us. Pride says, we don't want to, to continue to be, we don't want to continue to be a headache in the region and outside the region. Mwari ngati bvisire ZANU-PF must go. So, Pride is not joking and is not hiding about it. He says that ZANU-PF must go. And then we have Empowering Lives. Thank you very much for joining us. As long as the results are being announced tonight, during the night, it's ZANU-PF with the victory. Why do you think so? What has made you reach this conclusion? Let us know in the comment section. We hope that you'll come back with that response. And Takudzwanashe, thank you for joining us. We want peace. Certainly, everybody wants peace. We know that we lost a Triple C candidate, Tinashe, in Glenview, when there were clashes between ZANU-PF and Triple C during the run-up to this election. And one life lost is one too many. He's not there to exercise his constitutional right. His family has lost a child, a father, a son, a brother. Just because we don't agree. So in as much as you could be Triple C, the other could be ZANU-PF, we are all Zimbabweans. Let's be peaceful. Let's agree to disagree. Peace is what should prevail in this country. And we have Haji. Thank you very much, Haji, for joining us. Haji says, kunonotsa results kutya kubuditsa mukuru vadyiwa mavotes. I'm not going to say anything further, but thank you very much, Haji, for that. And we have Welcome. Welcome, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome says, we are tired of being treated like criminals in other countries. May God see our cries. So Zimbabweans, for instance, in neighboring South Africa, there are a lot of Zimbabweans. I'm not going to say how many because depending on whose statistics, the government says they're not more than 1 million. Other, sources say they're 1 million, but there are a lot of Zimbabweans crossing over to South Africa, looking for greener pastures, and they're doing whatever jobs in your farms, your teachings, your bricklayers, everywhere in every sector. They are there, but it's not, they still yearn to come back home. Home is where the heart is. I remember on election day, we crossed over to some Zimbabweans based in South Africa tuned in to the channel and told us that they had taken a day off. They couldn't travel to Zimbabwe, but took a day off so that they can be following on social media, online, what's happening back home. And they were very disappointed after learning that in some areas, voters failed to vote because ZEC had not was not efficient enough with their logistical planning. Melvin, thank you for joining us. Delay the vote, delay the announcement. My guy, this is exactly what I would have said. And you put it there correctly. They delayed the vote. Now they're delaying the announcement. ZEC, wherever you are, we have people waiting for those results. So as you can see there on the screen, that's the auditorium at the command center, and we are waiting for those results to be released. So we have journalists waiting in that room. You can see someone there with a media jacket. We have journalists there, reporters waiting for the commissioners to come out. Please, can they come out already and announce the results? So Zimbabweans all over are waiting for these results. Nasinorara pano takamirira ZEC kuti announce my results. So you have Ashley there. Thank you, Ashley, for joining us. We are here. ZEC nowhere to go until the announcement. Thank you very much, Ashley. Let's keep that spirit. If you could wait the whole night to vote today, we wait for those results. Tendai, thank you very much. Tendai says, watching from Cape Town. Thank you very much, Tendai. If you can let us know whether you managed to come home to vote. If you didn't, why you failed to come home, let us know in the comment section. Ngwena, thank you very much for joining us. We are Zimbabweans, whatever chabuda, ngatingo gamuchirai Mwari anoziva zvaanozviitira tinamatire runyararo. Indeed, we should be peaceful, but I don't know about accepting maybe a stolen election if anything like that comes up. I certainly know that Nelson Chamisa said he will not accept anything less, anything less than a win. He's winning this election. He is confident, and his party members are confident. But at the end of the day, ZEC has the final say. They will be issuing those results, announcing those results. So in case you're just joining us, you are in the election room with Lynette Manzini here on Open Pali. We're waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to announce the presidential results. Remember, the elections were held on the 23rd of August, spilled into the 24th, and today we're waiting for those results. Maxwell, thank you, Maxwell, for joining us. Maxwell says, I actually took 1 month leave, Kubasa, in SA. Kuvotera mkomana. Wow, that's amazing. This is Maxwell, based in South Africa, took 1 month leave to come back home to vote. Remember, if we don't have an outright winner, after 2 weeks, we're expected to have a rerun. So, Maxwell still has a couple of weeks, and, he still can participate in the rerun if it happens that we don't have an outright winner. We have Denzel here. Denzel says Zimbabweans, especially the young generation, if ED is announced as the winner, what next? We cannot keep on going back to election, which is not working. We need to be bold. I don't understand what you are implying, Denzel, but maybe if you can explain. But he's basically saying, we don't want to keep doing this, going to elections and getting the same win. I mean, ZANU-PF has been in power since independence. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back on the top of the hour. But if ZEC begins announcing those results, then we will be coming back to you live. So thank you very much. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the Election Dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw.
In Harare, as the nation anxiously wait to hear the presidential results, which will be announced right from this podium. However, today our focus is on persons with disability who are gathered here at the command center to cast their ballots for 2 senators that will represent them in parliament. As much as the voting process has been marred with a lot of irregularities, like what was witnessed in the ongoing general elections, whose voting happened on the 23rd and 24th of August, a total of 9 candidates have successfully been nominated to be voted for as senators. These comprise of Taurai Kajiti, Joe Ishmael, Joe Tapuma, and Moyo Mtandazo, whilst the female candidates comprise of Lillian Gwanyanya, Mutokoti Wongai, Maunganidze Mercy, the outgoing Senator Naspa Manyao, as well as Anna Shiri. Like we previously mentioned, a sizable number of voters who were supposed to be part and parcel of the process were denied access into the auditorium where voting is taking place. And we're just finding out that they did not even have an opportunity to have lunch with others, and they are stranded at the moment as far as issues of hunger and accommodation are concerned. Ndina baba vandinavo pano vengo vachivanhonge vari part of the process vari vamwe vevamwe vavharirwa panze mukuvhota kwanga kuchiitwa pano muzuva ranhasi. Atezvara maswera sei? Taswera hedu. Tingada kuziva kuti tiri kutaura nani uye mabva kupi, zvafamba sei zuva ranhasi?
Ndonzi Pastor Peter Kamtepa ndinobva kuBuhera. Actually, I'm a member weNational League for the Blind, and I came because Tinema affiliate organizations here, hoping to be part of the electorate Saka Fakona because of some serious irregularities. But we don't lose heart. We believe that our team is winning, and we are in high spirit. We're just out here going up to Chakabira Sea, and then we see what happens.
Alright, takatarisa nyaya dzekudya. I understand vamwe vapinda mukati umwe vakaenda kulunch. Imi wanawo mukana wekudya here uye muri kunzwa sei? Mabva kupi, nzvimbo yamabva, kuti tizive kuti muchazvifambisa sei muchibva kanaka?
Inini ndabva kuBuhera. Pasina kurongeka zvakanaka. Maybe there wasn't that negotiations as far as the preparations of this meeting is concerned, because some of us had to put up at 1 a.m. in the last night, which needed to be addressed.
Tina mama vatinavo pano vanga vauya kunovhota, vatida kunzwa kuti vabva kupi uye zvafamba sei kuti vazorambidzwa kupinda mukati mavhotera vamwe nekuti vari kunzwa sei. Mama makadii zvenyu?
Simba mwanangu makadii.
Tiripo. Tingada kuziva kuti mabva kupi uye zvakafamba sei kusvika patiri nhasi.
Ndakabva kwenye zuvo. Ine chinangwa chekuda kuzovhota semunhu akanga arejista mavhoti achona. Panguva yacho yatairejista tichitosendawo madetails edu tichiitiswa zvese. Saka chingoziva kuti zuva ranhasi ndozuva rekuvhota. Tatangouya kuti chinangwa ichocho. Saka takazongowanika kutiwo mazita mazhinji akupodza achipo kuzoti akabuda sei pazviri chakaitika. Hatina kuziva zvakafamba sei. Takangozva kuti mazita anonzi mazhinji haachisiko, ashaikwa.
Tingada kuziva kuti vamwe vadya pano makwanisawo kuwana mukana wekudya here uye mabatwa sei nevanga vachitaura nemi kubvira makuseni kusvika pari zvino?
Haisusu kuura kumakuseni tadya zvakanakawo chose, asi kozonyaya kuzoti hatinawo kunge tine makadhi aya ekuvhota nevamwe. Saka zvazoita kuti zvinzi vari kuvhota ndivo vachadya. Isusu nenyaya yekuti hatisi kuvhota ndopazvika zonzi hatisi kupiwa chikafu. Chikafu chinopiwa vane matiketi, vane makadhi avabayirirwa mahembe dzavo, vati vari kudya. Isusu sabonzi hatikwanisi kuenda.
Tingada kuziva kuti ndokekutanga here kuvhota musarudzo zvakaita seidzodzi, uye munonzwa sei nezvaitika pano zuva ranhasi semunhu akapfekawo mabhegi kubva kumba achiti ari kuenda kunovhota?
Inini hangu zvekuvhota kuno chivhota zvemasenedza ndovekutanga, asi kungoti izviwo zvangu ndibata semunhu anga nepfungwawo yekuti ndanchidawo kuzovhota, zvinhu zvangu ndibata. Ipapa manje tichibva kumba kwatarara uko kumutapa hotel, tati vanhu vangasina fungo yekuti zvichadaro, saka tatobva tatosiyawo mabhegi edu tiri kunovhota tichidzoka. Nokuti inini panguva yandanga ndangoziva kuti hatichavhoti, dai kuri kuti ndanga ndagara ndasekawo mabhegi angu, ndingadei pari zvino pamwe ndatosvika ukweko. Saka ipapa manje tinoenda nemakombi kunovata uko kwatinoenda. Saka pandozofunga zvino ndochidii ndichisiya nhupi hazvichaita, asi kana ndanga ndagara ziva kudaro ndingadai ndatoseka bhegi rangu zvako pandangoziva kutoti vamwe vakutopinda muvakugota aiwa dai kozondatoa zvamukumba sezvinhu zvambovhirika kuzvidaro zvokubata zvandibata hazvo asi hapana zvokuita.
Ndingada kuziva kuti chamunofunga kuti chingaitwe kuti dambudziko rakadai rigadziriswe ndechei musarudzo dzinotevera?
Inini sekufunga kwangu ndoona sekuti kana tichiita zvinhu zvevakaremara izvi handiti zvaifanirawo kutoti vanotimiririra kunge kune akaremara mberi kwazvo chaiko kuti munhu akadaroka anonzwisisa kurwadza kwohurema. Saka tikazenge tichiti tine mumiririri kuzeki kwacho ikoko kwacho kwazvinoitwa kwacho ikoko ndokwandiri kushurira kuti paifanira kunge kana zviri zvinhu zvevanhu vakaremara zvimiririrwe nomumwe wedu akaremara sesi.
Right here we have the candidates who have been duly nominated to take part in the elections. As we can see, the outgoing senator, Madam Naspa Manyao, among other nominated candidates who are anxiously waiting and are monitoring how the process is about to go at the moment.
In which unidentified people tried to abduct me in the presence of the media. And I don't know what the logic was, but I think it's just an affirmation of the shenanigans that have been associated with this election. And I stated later on at that press conference that if they have the guts to manhandle me in front of all that media, in the largest city in Zimbabwe, in Harare, what about someone who is in Dotito, who is in Mzarabani, who is in Matopo?
Feel about your security right now, your safety?
Well, you can never say never, but relatively, yes, I'm safe.
Promise was manhandled in front of journalists. So these unidentified men stormed into the press conference, into the venue of the press conference, and took away his speech, that he was giving to the journalists, and then tried to manhandle him. And luckily, there was resistance, and they failed to get him. And Promise here is saying that it was an abduction attempt, if he can be manhandled, and they tried to abduct him in front of the media, in full glare of the media. They were recording this press conference live. What about the people in the villages? It's really a cause of concern.
Well, you can obviously my safety is compromised given what happened and all the the spirited attempts to try and stifle a free expression, in particular in the context of this election, where they are trying as much as possible to suppress the freedom of expression, to suppress people from speaking out. So yes, my security is compromised, but nonetheless, we need to get this job done. And we are hands on the deck in terms of making sure that we remain focused on protecting the vote. The rest is secondary. The most important thing is that we protect this vote where we believe that we've won resoundingly.
But talk to us about your press conference. What did you want to talk to the media about?
Well, a number of issues. I think we did were midway the statement when the police or whoever they were disrupted us. But there was nothing out of this world that we wanted to say, except just to to highlight some of the anomalies which have discredited this electoral process, and to acknowledge the same position taken by all election observer missions. I say all of them because their statements did, express some level of disquiet over the manner in which the election has been conducted, and they all did say that they failed to pass the litmus test for a free and fair election. Under a normal circumstance, this government would then say, okay, we are going to try and rectify this by announcing the accurate result. And if they are not in a position to announce the accurate result, we abandon the whole election altogether and could then prepare and conduct a proper, free and fair election that will be recognized by all these election observer meetings that have condemned the current election. When President Mr. wins this election, it doesn't mean that the election has been free and fair. We have stated repeatedly that we are gearing and preparing to win an unfree and unfair election. Because long beforehand, we had realized that ZANU-PF was unwilling and incapable of conducting or allowing a free and fair election to be conducted. They've captured ZEG, they've created funds, and then they've also smuggled some observers under the auspices of some shadowy organizations that they hurriedly registered as non-governmental organizations to intimidate our voters. So yes, if when President Chamisa wins, he is winning against this background. And you must know that, yes, he has won because of the overwhelming support that he has overwhelmed and overridden all the rigging, all the intimidation, all the manipulation. And we have seen throughout the voting process the determination of our citizens to vote for change. They stood in there for so many hours without anything in the scorching heat. Well, the preliminary results we are receiving in our own independent tabulation processes, they vindicate our strategic ambiguity strategy 100%. We have done so well. President Chamisa's vote has surged compared to 2018. It has increased the margin between himself and Mr. Mnangagwa, between himself and even against our own candidates. You see Mr. President Nelson Chamisa leading quite decisively, which speaks to the strategic ambiguity, a tactic that we employed, particularly in the rural and peri-urban areas, where we had to use unprecedented, strategies to penetrate while it's securing the safety of our supporters. Well, what is going on is very simple. This is an attempt, a futile attempt to reverse the people's victory. You don't revisit something until there's something wrong. And there's definitely something wrong in there. In terms of the law, if you want to revisit the ballot papers, they must be court ordered, and it must be before a court. And all that has not happened. So these recalls are a clear indication that there is an attempt to reverse the people's victory. But we have said to our agents, they must remain vigilant, guard the victory in terms of the balance as much as possible, and ensure that they are not coerced into signing forged documents and all those shenanigans that are being attempted to be done. Well, the main thing, my sister, is that we shouldn't even be defending the vote. Mm-hmm. The vote must be transparent. Ideally, people must vote. Upon completion of voting, they count, they agree on the figures, and they post the vote outside the polling station. And people can go home knowing a particular vote that they attend at a particular polling station. And then you can make the additions and the mathematics to get the totals. The fact that people have to protect the vote is in itself an indication that the election in Zimbabwe have absurdly failed, to meet the minimum standards of a decent election.
And right after the press conference, after your attempted abduction, there was a statement issued by the Zimbabwe Republic Police. They said that they have a warrant for your arrest. Have you seen this statement?
I've seen the statement with utter shock. Yes, in the past I had some flimsy accusations against me. I faced them in the court, and I was acquitted of all the flimsy charges that have been preferred against me. I have no warrant of arrest whatsoever. This is a laughable attempt to try and chlorinate their disgraceful actions this afternoon before the whole world. In any case, wouldn't the police have been able just to wait for 30 minutes rather than disrupting a press conference of that nature? It just shows you the uncouth nature of the people that we are dealing with. But in short, there is no warrant of arrest that is before me. I was cleared of all the charges which should never have been preferred in the first place. And I know that this is an attempt to try and, tarnish my image, try and criminalize me, to try and handicap me so that I'm not able to effectively carry out my duty as the spokesperson of the Triple C.
And finally, have you been able to identify who these men are? Because we've seen their pictures, on social media. Our reporters were there on the ground, took the pictures. But have you, as a party, been able to identify? Promise before he leaves, and we have Ivan there. Thank you, Ivan. Ivan says, "Is Fadzai Mahere no longer the spokesperson?" I think Promise addressed this, but maybe Promise, if you can just respond to this. They are surprised. Ivan here is watching us from YouTube, and he's surprised that I'm referring to you as the spokesperson. Maybe if you can just clarify that issue.
There's nothing really to clarify. As you said, we addressed this issue at some point in one of our press conferences. There is nobody who has been fired or demoted in all those conspiracies. It's just the fact that cadres in a political party are deployed and redeployed as the principal sees fit, and in terms of the context that the principal deploys them. So yes, our champion Fadzai Mahere is an integral part of this movement, and I'm sure the principal is considering or has already considered deploying a
election dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the election dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the election dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw.
you are just joining us, you are tuning into Election Room ZW here on Open Pali. My name is Lynette Manzini. Thank you very much for joining us. So, in case you're just joining us, you are tuning into Election Room ZW here on Open Party. My name is Lynette Manzini. We're waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to release the presidential results. The elections took place on the 23rd and 24th of August, and today is the D-Day. We're waiting for ZEC to announce these results. The council results have been announced. And also the National Assembly results, but we are waiting for the president. Who is going to win this presidential election? This is the question on everyone's mind, and we are waiting for ZEC. ZEC is mandated to release these results. They are the only ones who are legally allowed to announce the results of the winner or the person winning this particular election. There were 11 presidential candidates, and two are the front runners, Nelson Chamisa and Emerson Mnangagwa. We have seen a bit of movement in the auditorium, and our reporters stationed at the command center have indicated that there seems to be movement, and they're clearing, I think, so that the commissioners can come into the auditorium. So we are waiting for those results. So what are your thoughts? What do you think ZEC is going to announce today? If we can just go into the comment section, let us know how you're feeling about this election. Are you optimistic that Nelson Chamisa is winning this election? Are you optimistic that Emerson Mnangagwa will be winning at this election? If we can just move on to the comments section. And this is a picture, sent in by our reporters. This is the high table at the auditorium at the HICC, which is the command center where ZEC will be releasing the presidential results. Remember, ZEC still has time. They have until Monday, the 29th of August, to release these results, but indications are that they will be announcing those results any moment from now. We got a bit excited when we saw a bit of movement up there on the high table. So don't forget to share the link for this live stream so that we can have more Zimbabweans tuning in. Share this link on Facebook, share it on WhatsApp, share it in the WhatsApp groups, on Twitter as well, so that we can have more Zimbabweans wherever they are, they can tune in. I know there are Zimbabweans following this in South Africa, in the UK, in Australia. We had another Zimbabwean who was tuning in from Vietnam, and would like to thank you very much for following, for trusting us as Open Party to give you live feed of these elections. Share the link in the groups, and don't forget to visit the elections dashboard as well, where you will be getting live updates on who has won which particular constituency, their results and their names. So we have user 99. User 99 says, the disappointment in predicting it's giving the Asante Sana situation back in 2017. So he says that this election is giving us a Asante Sana vibe. So let's not forget to share. How many of you have shared the link? Let's share the link so that we can have more people tuning in. And thank you very much for tuning in. Send it to your relatives, your mother, your sister, every Zimbabwean, so that they can tune in. Here Rutendo said tenza kwana kani tese takatomirira Rutendo in pandatoya pano that tenza dzakwana paita movement pamacheya ma results ako announced, but ZEC ize kunongo izo esta takaimirira sema journalist since Muswa 23, but havasati vatipa any information. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Let's keep those comments coming. As long as people keep voting the party as long as people keep voting that party, we will suffer. Which party are you referring to? I suppose you're referring to ZANU PF. We don't know how people voted. Triple C says that they voted in their numbers. We're waiting to see what the results will give us today. If we can move on to the next comment. Chido, thank you very much for joining us. Chido says that ZANU PF ndoida kupika na mai vangu. Svotwai tukai but kupinda haapinde. Chido unofarira pati yako zvishuwa. Ende tinofarawo kuti uri pachirongwa uri kuona pano paOpen Party. You're trusting us. To bring you the live coverage. And thank you very much to over 10,000 people who are tuning in right now. Thank you very much. Let's keep those numbers increasing. Share the link. We are going to be giving you the live coverage from the HICC today, where we're expecting the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to give us results, the presidential results. Who do you think is winning in these elections? Who did you vote for? Who's winning? Why? And why should they win in this election? Let us know in the comment section. A number of young people I spoke to were saying that they did not vote for Emmerson Mnangagwa because, he failed to create the 2.2 million jobs. He promised over 2 million jobs in the last election when he was campaigning, and still young people are still walloping in poverty. They are jobless. They're in the informal sector. They're living from hand to mouth. And many who left the universities are now selling airtime, some of them selling sweets, as vendors. And, they're always in running battles with the city fathers, chasing them away from the streets, yet this is their only source of livelihood. So these are the issues that are at stake in this election. The economy, they're looking around the healthcare. Is nothing to write home about. Our hospitals, our government hospitals cannot provide basic health care, and that becomes a problem. There are a lot of Zimbabweans who are now flying to India, those that can afford. What about, those without income? What happens to them? And that's why that's some of the issues that are critical in these elections. People want a leader who can jumpstart the economy, make sure the healthcare system is working, create the jobs, and also the issue of our education. I remember Triple C President Nelson Chamisa during his rally, and even in his manifesto, he talks about color. He says that the color component, they want to remove it from the education system. Has been causing a lot of havoc, but unfortunately, they haven't told us what exactly they will replace that with. And remember, Triple C has a manifesto, and ZANU PF does not have a manifesto. This is the first time a ZANU PF candidate does not have a manifesto. ZANU PF, since they've participated in all the elections, have made sure they have a manifesto, but this time under the leadership of Emmerson Mnangagwa, do not have a manifesto. They say the manifesto is the work that they have done. Let us know in the comment section if you think they've done an A-OK job. What are your thoughts around the work that has been done by ZANU PF? Do you think that ED is fit for re-election? Some have said ED pay Mukomana hapinde, but let us know. Keep those comments coming. Mukomana aenda nechimote. That's Munyaradzi. Thank you very much. And Munyaradzi has a yellow background there. I'm sure you are a Triple C supporter. He says Mukomana aenda nechimote. Let's move on to the next comment as we wait for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to join us this evening. and begin the conversation around, announcing the results. We earlier on saw a bit of movement, and we thought that, it's about to go down, but it seems that it was a false start, but we will hang in there. Let's hang in there. We have reached 11,000 viewers. Thank you very much to all those that are tuning in to this broadcast. We told you, we promised you that we'll have to sleep in the studio if we have to, to make sure that you get live results, so that you get these results live from the command center. So let's share the link with our friends and our family so that we can all get these results together. So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room here on Open Pali. So you're literally in the election room, and we are coming to you live from Studio Moto here in Harare. And we have reporters that are stationed at the command center waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to announce the results. And the results everyone is waiting for, the presidential results. The two front runners in this election are Emerson Mnangagwa from the ZANU-PF and the Triple C President Nelson Chamisa. And we hear that the auditorium has filled up as we speak. There are people coming in. Those that are supposed to be in the auditorium, accredited to be there, have filled up the auditorium, but still waiting for the commissioners, that's the Zimbabwe Electoral Commissioners, to join us. That's an image of the auditorium, the media there waiting for ZEC to announce those results. So this is very interesting. This is it's crunch time now. We are waiting for those results to be announced. We can't wait to see the commissioners going up that stage so that they can announce the results. Every Zimbabwean across the country, all over the world, are waiting for that. And Brian in the comment section is saying, "Ngazvitange tatoneta Brian nekumirira nezeki achitanga." Thank you very much to the 12,000 people that are tuning in, and let's keep that sharing the link. I see one of our colleagues there in the auditorium waiting to cross over and show us those results. And that's Morris. Thank you very much, Morris, for joining us. Morris says, "ZANU igotendera kuti ma-results abude quick isina kuina haimi motamba." Morris thinks that the results won't come out quickly. ZANU-PF won't allow it to happen if they haven't won this election. So those are his thoughts. And then Purity, thank you very much for joining us. Purity says, "Watching from Nyanga, so excited. Guys, can't wait. We can't wait as well. I'm waiting for that moment when we see the commissioners walking up that stage, just so that they can begin to announce the results." So this is, just for a lighter moment. We received this in our WhatsApp group today. Here's a Zimbabwean, they have their passport there in between their lips. They have their remote control, literally waiting for ZEC to begin announcing, but also they have their bag. Remember, I think it was Wellington who says that as long as ZANU-PF wins this election, I know my way to South Africa. So I don't know whether he's headed to South Africa. He's got his bag there, his two bags, his remote control and his passport ready to leave the country. But I don't know whether he agrees with Wellington. Wellington was saying that he'll leave the country if ZANU-PF wins, but we don't know what that one. And here is is another image there, someone waiting for ZEC to announce the results. ZEC, this is what's happening. Mudzimba vanhu vakutadza kurara vakamirira results. Mangwana kuchechi ZEC tipewo results. So we've got 13,444 viewers. Thank you very much for joining us. Continue to share and now I'm about to say continue to share the results, but continue to share the link so that we have more people tuning in and watching these results live. We have Michael there. Michael, thank you very much for joining us. Michael says, congratulations to Chamisa, even Nyangwe Wakaba this run. Chamisa was there for Vanu, and that's braveness. God is in it. Michael says he's already congratulating Chamisa. I don't know where you got your results from, Michael, but we will wait for Zek to announce those results. We have a Talent. Thank you very much, Talent. Talent says, watching from Berengwa, we didn't vote for ED. So vamwe varamba ende tapinda mu 14,000 viewers. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep those comments coming in, and let's keep sharing this live stream. So we have, I am here. You can only see me, but we're literally over 15 people in our studio behind the scenes, working tirelessly to ensure that, you have this live feed. And we have journalists that are stationed at the command center waiting to just to bring us the live feed. We have the live feed there, just waiting for the commissioners to walk up. So thank you very much to all the Zimbabweans out there for tuning in. I know that there will be other people who aren't Zimbabweans, but I want to thank each and every one of you who's joining us at this particular moment. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have Sokostina. Thank you, Sokostina. Sokostina says, unorara sei munyika mune nyaya aungamborari shamwari hatisi kurara inini kana kutogara pasi handisi kugara pasi nhasi kusvika results ataura. Like I literally voted. I hope you can see that, my pinky finger. I actually voted for candidates of my choice. My MP and my councillor have since won. I'm now waiting for the presidential results, but I won't share who my president is. We have Bosman. Thank you very much, Bosman. We want authentic results. Zimbabwe is for us all. We know who we want to rule Zimbabwe for now. Bosman says we want authentic results that represent the aspirations of Zimbabweans. And we are hoping that Zek is going to do the right thing. And earlier on, there was a comment from one of the viewers who said that what we want is a president who's going to jumpstart the economy. Mari inotenga. We're tired of having a currency that's not recognized, that has no value. As soon as you get your hands on the Zim dollar here in Zimbabwe, the next thing you're looking for United States dollars, because the US dollars have become a much sought after commodity because nobody wants to keep their money. To keep the RTGS, the Zim dollar, because it devalues. Tawanda, thank you very much for joining us. Tawanda says results now na midnight. They won't announce kusvika vamwe vanhu varara chete. Manje hatisi kurara ende imi musarare futi. We will be live here giving you this video footage. And then we have Nasi torara pano, certainly tinorara pano. I think at this moment in time, takambomirira Zek kuti uye rega timbokurakidzai mamepa tinawo. We have a couple of maps that our team has been putting together, and just to show you what's happening. So this is, I hope I'm not okay, I hope you can see the maps clearly. So this is a map for Manicaland province, and it's all green. And remember when we were looking at the battlegrounds, the battleground provinces, and Manicaland was one such province. It was won by ZANU-PF in the last election, and they won by 1%. And Dr. McDonald Lewanikwa actually suggested that, according to the research that he's been working on, that this province could go either way. And according to this, ZANU-PF, there are 26 constituencies in this province. 21 went to ZANU-PF, and 5 of them went to Triple C. So it has just flipped to ZANU-PF again. So 80.6% 7% of this province was won by ZANU-PF. So that's your National Assembly. So this doesn't represent presidential results. So that's your Manicaland, and we want to thank the content creators for this. And this was fact checked by the fact checkers. You have your Zim facts there. Thank you very much for that. So don't forget to visit our dashboard. That's www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. So this is Harare, and as you can see, it's yellow. And as the research that we were sharing with you earlier on, it shows, it suggested that this is a stronghold of the opposition. 30 constituencies, 26 went to Triple C, 4 went to ZANU-PF. So ZANU-PF in the last election only had 1. So this is what Patrick Chinamasa from the ZANU-PF was saying earlier on. He was saying that they did considerably well. And, Dr. Lewanikwa was saying that they had a low bar, so they had 1 constituency previously, and now they have 4. So they won areas like Hunyani, Epworth, I think it was Epworth, is it Epworth South? They won Mbare, Hunyani, where Triple C candidate Love Mochino Putsa was running as a candidate. And then now we have this. So you can, don't forget to visit our dashboard. So you can also scan this QR code to get election updates. So in case you whenever, even after the election, but now I encourage you to visit the election dashboard so you can have a feel of the election dashboard, and then quickly come back here and let us know what you think. We just want to move on to some tweets. You remember we will curate some tweets from people around the country and just discuss them here. So this is Xavier Kasukwere, Honorable Xavier Kasukwere. Is a former cabinet minister in the Robert Mugabe cabinet, and he is currently in South Africa. On the 21st of June, he was duly nominated as a candidate, but was later disqualified by the courts. He says there will be a new dawn. A new era has arrived. They will try, but it's over. Good luck, Zimbabwe. I think we need to get a hold of, Honorable Xavier Kasukwere and find out what this means. This was today, and just find out what this means. And if we can just take back our attention. Okay, we have one more tweet. That's Tendai BT. Tendai BT is says that once election observers have signed off V11s and V23 forms, they become, okay, this is law language, and I might not read this correctly, but functus officio, they have done their job and are no longer required. Reports that are being summoned back smack of an attempt to redo the process. We say no to any assault on the law and democracy. So Tendai BT is saying that I don't know when this tweet was taken, and there are some people, I don't even know how to say this in English, but I'm going to say some people, and I hope it's not me. Alfred, thank you very much for joining us. Alfred says, kana uchiti hauite betting ika kondoka feeling ticket. Okay, let me try this one more time. Kana uchiti hauite betting ika kandoka feeling ticket rasara ne one team kutiri wine. Okay, I kind of get what you mean. So, those that have say that they do not bet, this is like gambling itself. This is the last ticket. We're waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to give us the results. Everybody has their own ticket and are hoping that it's the winning ticket. Thank you very much, Alfred. Thank you very much. Let's keep those comments coming. Thank you very much, Zimbabwe's Open Party. We want to thank you very much for trusting us as your go-to media. We have reporters that are at the command center that are waiting for the Zimbabwe electoral commission to begin announcing the results. And mind you, after they are done, President Emerson Mnangagwa is going to hold a press conference, and we will be giving you a live coverage of that. And I think we showed you this earlier on. This is an image of a man that's waiting waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. I bet you this is how you're waiting at home. You're either on the edge of your seat or you are standing there. It's too hot to sit down. You want to stand there and watch the television, making sure that ZEC is giving you your results, the results, why you waited on the 23rd. Some of you voted on the 24th. Today, ZEC will be issuing those results. If it means we'll do an all-nighter here, we are ready. Some of us, our blankets are by the side. If it's cold, we'll sleep in the studio today. So thank you very much for joining us. In case you're just joining us, you're tuned into Election Room here on Open Pali. We're waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to give us the results. Just into the comment section again, joining us via YouTube. Thank you very much, Luke. Luke says ZANU PF4. Now, I don't know what this means because they normally say ZANU PF. Are you saying they didn't win or are you saying they won? Please interpret that for us. I'm not going to interpret that for you. Oliver joining us from YouTube. Thank you very much. Oliver says, Idi arikuda kuva resigner. Interesting. Are you a fortune teller now? Do you know what Edie wants to talk about? Thank you very much, Oliver. Oliver suggests that Edie maybe wants to resign after, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission announces the results. But remember, they were saying Edie anenge aripo 2030 anenge aripo. So I don't think he wants to resign. Vimbai, thank you very much for joining us via YouTube. Vimbai says, God bless my country, Zimbabwe. I support you 100%. God bless Zimbabwe. Another comment from Sibanda. Thank you, Sibanda, joining us live from Facebook. Sibanda says, yes, pamberi nezanu PF. Uye ari kuti ZANU PF pamberi nayo. I'm sure manifesto iri kushanda here. Manifesto chimbotudzai kuti manifesto yavari kuti zvinhu zvavakaita kudhara zvii zvavakaita zvamuri kuti pamberi nezano. Chimbotiudzai tizivewo. Ngapinde hake mukomana takaenda. Why are you saying ngapinde mukomana? Why is mukomana the best candidate for this job? Are we as Zimbabweans just voting for the sake of voting, or is there something that's at stake in this election? Tudzei kuti sei makaenda kunovhota, chii chamuri kuda? Muri kungoda president mutsva here kana kuti pane zvamuri kuda kuti agokuitirai? Let us know in the comment section. We have Tatenda there. Thank you, Tatenda, for joining us. Tiri kuda kurara Chamisa ava president, yellow to the nation. Saka nhasi makamirira kuti ZEC taure kuti Chamisa ndiye president. Nhasi anotorara kuState House kakana zvakadai. Thank you very much, Tatenda, for that. We have Nomsa. Nomsa says, tiri kudawo kudzoka kumba, please. Zvinoita chete Nomsa, ndofunga nhasi izuva racho tichaudzwa results neZEC ende munenge muchidzoka kumba. Kana mauya mozoyawo muchitionawo kuOpen Pali moti ndime makatipa results, taiona results through you. Thank you very much. And then we have Vanessa. Vanessa says, it's now time to change. The youth has suffered enough. Triple C for the win. Do you think, so you are suggesting that Triple C will relieve the youth, the young people from, the suffering that they've been exposed to by the current regime. But remember, not everybody has the same sentiments. Others think that ZANU PF is the party of choice. They are doing a great job. But I think the economy speaks for itself. The pockets speak for themselves. The bank accounts speak for themselves. We have Thompson. Thank you very much, Thompson, for joining us via YouTube. Thompson says, ndaona vanhu varara nebhutsu. Vanorara nebhutsu ndevapa. I think tatine picture yacho apa Thompson. Iri kurakidza kuti zveshuwa munhu apinda mu2-in-1 nebhutsu. But vanorara nebhutsu ndevapi? Because pachange pachienda nevamwe vachafara vanenge vachipinda muState House. But ndevapi vacharara nebhutsu? tiudzei munofunga comment section. Kuda kwashe, please, we have transport for free to shift the property from the State House. I don't mean to laugh, but kuno kwatowana chi vari kuda kutomuvha president vari munonzi chimustate house vachiti vanokwanisa kuvamuvhira property yavo. Thank you very much kuda kwashe. Kana maresults ataura tozoona kuti pari kuda property iri kuenda kustate house kana kuti iri kubva kustate house. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on to the next. We have Ndlovu. Thank you very much, Ndlovu. Gold mafias are going. Do you think so? You really think so? But you know, Ndlovu here suggests that the gold mafia gang are going. I mean, they've been looting a lot of our gold in this country, while many people are walloping in poverty. If we can move on to the next. Don't forget to share this live stream. Share the link so we can have more people tuning in. As you can see there, that's a picture from the auditorium at the command center where our reporters are stationed so that we can cross over live as soon as ZEC begins to announce the results. We have Takavinge Mahachi, thank you very much for joining us. Ini personally ndakamirira kunzwa kuti President Nelson Chamisa ndova winner pa election because ndakavotera change mu Zimbabwe. You know what? Thank you very much for voting. It's actually good that you voted, exercise your constitutional right. And he says that he voted for President Nelson Chamisa and is only waiting to hear that he is the winner in this election. But you have to wait for ZEC, and ZEC has the final say in this race. If we can move on to the next comment. So in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room ZW here on Open Party. My name is Lynette Manzini. We're still waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to release the results of the presidential candidates. There were 11 presidential candidates that were running for the top job. Only one person can be president at a time in this country. So out of those, 11, one person is going to win the election. So there are two front runners. You have Emmerson Mnangagwa, who's seeking re-election. He's a ZANU-PF candidate, and the Citizens Coalition for Change candidate, and Nelson Chamisa. He is a contestant in this race, and we are waiting for those results tonight just to find out who is winning at this election. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's keep sharing the live stream, and we certainly hope that ZEC, will start announcing those results. So the auditorium, according to our reporters stationed at the command center, is full to the brim. You have international and local observers. So, journalists from Zimbabwe, the region, and, from overseas that are there waiting to cover this event, which is the announcement of the presidential results. We have Judith there. Judith, thank you very much. Judith says, Munu awina chaye, they will not announce. Judith, tifile said trukuti ZEC the right thing. So we're certainly hoping that they're going to do the right thing. But I do get where you're coming from. In the past, we've had the opposition bemoaning the fact that the election had been stolen and that ZEC did not produce the actual results. But we're hoping that they're going to do the right thing. Zimbabweans are hopeful that ZEC is going to announce the results, the will of the people. And, just to go back to the observer missions who issued their statements yesterday, they actually spelt out in their reports that the relationship between the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission and the stakeholders, which is the voters, the politicians, and the political parties, has since deteriorated, and it's important that this is restored. And this relationship, is also explained by Judith's message. Judith says that Muna wina chaye ha announce we, we certainly hope that zvichafamba zvakanaka muzuva ranhasi. So we also have, we're just going to cross over. Okay, they just dropped. We wanted to cross over to our reporter at the command center where ZEC is supposed to announce these results, just to find out what's going on, what's causing the delay. Have they managed to speak to any of the commissioners? Is there any movement? Because achero open asaudziwane wakamirira results at presidential, at the presidential race. If we can have more comments so that we can engage with our audience. So in case you are joining us, so we have Walter there. Walter says ZEC PF delays everything. So, the issue we're just talking about, people are of the view that ZEC is not independent. It's a Chapter 5 institution and it's supposed to be independent. But, now they're calling it ZEC PF, meaning suggesting that they're compromised and they're doing the bidding of the ZANU-PF. We just want to cross over to our reporter, Mary, who's stationed at the command center. Mary, good evening. What's happening at the command center? We can't wait for the results. They are still smiling. Here we are waiting eagerly for those results. What's happening? Have you managed to speak to any commissioner? Keep us up to speed.
There's a reason why I am excited and I'm smiling, Lynette. We can see the director, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission Director of Public Relations, Commissioner Justin Manyau, behind me with the ZEC team setting up their cameras. So I'm certain that we are very, very much near to the announcement that we've been waiting for here at the National Command Center located in Harare, Zimbabwe.
That's exciting news. We have been waiting here. Before I finish with you, I just want to tell the viewers to share the link. It's about to go down. The Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is about to announce the result. And as you can see, our reporter is excited. She voted in this election. She's not just a reporter, but a Zimbabwean and waiting for the announcement of this result. And she says that she's seen the Director of Communication, Dr. Justin, setting up with his team. They're setting up their cameras, and the moment we have all been waiting for is about to come. Thank you very much, Mary. What's the mood like amongst the journalists themselves? I know you're excited. How are the others feeling? Are they not tired? Because I know they've been there for a long time.
Honestly speaking, everybody is on their feet. We are excited just because the moment that we've been waiting for a very long time has finally not come to pass per se, but is near. It's been hectic. It's been draining. Sometimes you don't know what's happening. You're just waiting. Waiting to hear something, especially now when they have been relatively silent and not, giving us regular updates. So this is really the moment that we've been waiting for, and we can't wait to hear what they have to say to us.
Certainly, Mary, thank you very much for that. As soon as something starts moving, please come back and let us know so that we update the viewers and they're ready to cross over to you live. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you very much, Lynette. Good evening, viewers.
So that's Mary, our reporter stationed at the command center, where ZEC is in a little bit going to be announcing results for the presidential elections. Zimbabweans are eagerly waiting for this moment, and Mary just came up to inform us that it's about to go down. She says that the information department, the ZEC information department, has started setting up. The director of information and his team have started setting up their cameras because they also want to capture this auspicious event, just like the journalists who have been waiting there since morning. Our reporters since the 23rd of August, and today is somebody suggested is the final countdown, and it's the moment we have been waiting for. We have Yanela. Thank you very much for joining us. Yanela says, if the opposition does not succeed, perhaps it's time you guys stop following preachers and follow people who are willing to get their hands dirty. What do you mean? Thank you very much for your comment. But who are those people who get their hands dirty? And what do you mean getting your hands dirty? I remember Nelson Chamisa during his last rally lifting up his hand and saying, try these hands. They are clean hands, So what hands are you talking about when you refer to dirty hands? Thank you very much for your comment. We value your comments. Let us know what you mean so that, we get an understanding of where you're coming from. Senzeni, thank you very much for joining us. Senzeni says, Veduve, anoita nurse aid or whatever, apply uyende. Okay, let me take that again. Veduve, anoita nurse aid or whatever, apply uyende. Hapana kwa vari kuenda anasekuru ava. Historic delay idzi. It's game over kare kare. So Senzeni has lost hope. Senzeni doesn't believe that, the opposition has won this election. He's saying that those that are able to get, who have their nurse aid certificates should apply for jobs overseas and leave the country. This has become, the last resort for Zimbabweans going to abroad. You'll find a banker leaving their job and then going to the UK to become a nurse aid, a lawyer leaving their job and going to the UK as a nurse aid. So this is what's happening. And then Senzeni, okay, that's the old comment. If we can have more comments there. Tichaona, EDP, Tichaona is optimistic that not Nelson Chamisa, but ED Emerson Mnangagwa will be re-elected in this election. If Emerson Mnangagwa wins this election, this will be his last term. There's no going further beyond this. And I'm just wondering about the succession issues in ZANU-PF. And I think that every party should also just make sure that issues to do with successions, are dealt with so that, there isn't a problem of transfer of power. So don't forget to share the link. We're still waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to begin announcing the presidential results. We are this close to start getting those results coming in because our reporter has just informed us that the ZEC director for information has started setting up cameras with his team. So they know more information than our reporters do. So everybody's excited that they are setting up. I'm sure the reporters, they are tired, but they're steadfast. They want to make sure that Zimbabweans get this information as it comes in. And we're also going to be here crossing over to our reporter who's on the ground. So CF, thank you very much for joining us. CS says we are hostages of rural people, so we have to just leave. I think, the Triple C, not just the Triple C, but other opposition, but I'm talking about the Triple C because they have a candidate who's a front runner in this election. I think they called it the Umguzo strategy, of going to the rural areas and engaging the rural folks. We certainly hope that, it was successful for them. And I'm sure that it's going to work out well. So we're going to send a link in the comment section. I think I've done enough of reading comments, but we want you to come onto the screen now as we're waiting for ZEC. But as soon as, ZEC starts starts announcing the results, we'll cross over to our reporter. But right now, there's a link in the comment section. Please get into the comment section, identify that link. Maybe if you can just put the link on the screen so that the viewers can see that link and join us in this conversation. So we already have somebody joining us with S. Jongwe. If we can add them, and Carol, if we can add them to the stream so that they can join the conversation. So please use the link on the screen to join the conversation. If the tech team can assist me with putting up some of those people who have joined the stream so that we can have the conversation. S. Jongwe, how are you? Unfortunately, you are in a dark room and I can't see you clearly, but I hope you can hear me. Jongwe, are you there?
Yes, hello, how are you, my sister?
Good evening, how are you? I'm fine, thank you, and I hope that you are well. Let us know, how are you feeling about this election? ZEC is about to announce the results in a couple of minutes. How are you feeling about these elections?
Yeah, it's tough, We've been waiting for this moment. I don't know. Can you say if I'm audible enough?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
We've been waiting for this moment. I don't know. Can you say if I'm audible enough? Okay. Thank you very much. We've been waiting for this moment for a very long time, and I won't be secretive. We need change. And we are nervous now since you have mentioned that they are coming to announce, but we are wondering why are they still not coming to tell us what's happening. So as a youth, we need to hear about this change we are waiting for. And I think even the ruling party, ZANU-PF, they know they just have to give power to someone else to try to change the current situation, because as of now, I don't see even why they've contested, because they failed us for 40 years and extra, if I may say. So how many years more do they need, and what are we expecting them to change or to give their people? It's like this country belongs to a very few people. So I don't know. I'm so curious now, just waiting for the results, my sister.
Exactly like you mentioned it. You put it very well that the nerves are high right now. You are waiting for ZEC to announce those results, and you also highlight that what is it that they're going to do in the next 40 years? They've been in power as a party for 40 years, but they have done absolutely nothing. Where are you tuning in from, if I can ask?
Yeah, I'm also abroad, my sister. I don't know. I'm not. There's load shedding here, but.
Okay, thank you very much. I suppose that's in South Africa, but thank you very much. Let's allow another viewer to join us on the stream. Thank you very much, S. Jongwe there. Let's move on to the next viewer there. That's Chama Helele. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but thank you very much for joining us. Let us know, where are you tuning in from?
I am tuning from the Republic of Ireland.
Thank you very much for joining us. And how are you feeling about this election?
I'm very anxious. You see, we are in the countries where we are, and we shouldn't be here. And okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the only reason why we are here is to look after our families, and time has come that President Nelson Chamisa should take over and let this country take another direction.
Why do you think that President Nelson Chamisa should take over? Because that's what you've suggested. Why is he the best candidate?
So, in terms of, so first of all, the other party didn't have even a manifesto. So looking at the value proposition in terms of the blueprint of what is the value proposition that President Nelson Chamisa and the Triple C have been, putting right into this election, and also track record, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if I follow, by the way, he was my leader when I was at Harare Polytechnic. So he is a person that I followed. I've been in the MDC formations actually with some leadership roles as well. So I know his leadership as a person. I know him on first name terms. I have been following him. And, he has been consistent. He is not a person that is just being followed by people, because he's charismatic, but his leadership, it speaks for itself.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have to cut this conversation short because we want other viewers to join. Maybe you can join us a bit later, but thank you for joining us from Ireland, all the way from Ireland. And he was just saying that he's a Zimbabwean. He's there in Ireland. He's not supposed to be there, but he's there because he needs to feed his family, and he's hopeful that Nelson Chamisa will win this election. He says that he he's the right man for this job. Let's move on to the next viewer. I hope that we can have some women also joining us. I want to hear what the women are saying. But thank you to, unfortunately, I can't see the name. Okay, that's CMK. Thank you very much for joining us. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you feeling about this election? ZEC is about to announce the results any moment from now. How are you feeling about the election?
I'm just expecting something different. I'm just expecting, not just in terms of the results, but I'm expecting something different in the conduct of everything that's going to be done.
What can you say about ZEC's conduct so far?
It's been disappointing. It's been shameful. It's something that can make everybody who's looking at Zimbabwe right now thinks that Zimbabweans are joking. Everybody now thinks that Zimbabweans are not serious about anything, because ZEC came to people saying they are prepared for the election. They said they are prepared for the election for months, and then you fail to produce ballot papers on the day in the epicenter of the country where the ballot papers are being printed, and it's just shameful. It's disgusting.
Thank you very much for that. Who do you think is going to change? Who's going to win in this election? Maybe if you care to share, who your candidate is or who you think is going to win this election.
Well, we want change. The people of Zimbabwe want change. That's all that we want, and we want change. And if as long as I have this chance, I would say whoever wins, as much as we want change, but whoever wins, let this be a call up to that person to know that the people of Zimbabwe want change. The children of Zimbabwe have suffered, and we have suffered enough. We want change. If somebody is going to go back into the office, whether you're an MP, whether you're a councillor, we want change. If you weren't doing your job before, we want change.
Thank you very much for that. So he's saying that no matter who goes back into office or who is elected in this election, the people of Zimbabwe have suffered enough. What they want is change. Whether you're a member of parliament, you're a president, Zimbabweans want change and they deserve it. Thank you very much for that. And he says that he is disappointed. He feels disappointed, and the way that ZEC has conducted itself is very shameful. Thank you very much for that. We have Raina. Raina, thank you very much for joining us. Can you hear me? Raina, please unmute your mic. I cannot hear you. Unmute your mic. Good evening, Raina. Can you hear me? Raina, I think you might need to exit and rejoin in a little bit, because I cannot hear you there. If we can move on to another viewer there, that's David. David, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Where are you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from Mozambique.
From Mozambique. And how are you feeling about what are your thoughts about the Zimbabwean elections?
Really, it's not lived up to expectation. Like the previous caller said, ZEC actually promised, made a lot of promises, and which they have failed to deliver upon. Well, we just hope that the announcement would take place, soon, and so we would find out who actually becomes the next president.
And who do you think will be the next president? I hear you have kind of an accent. You don't sound like a Zimbabwean. Maybe you are. I could be wrong, but if you can let us know, who do you think is going to, win this job today? Because they are literally contesting for the top job.
Yeah, actually, I'm not a Zimbabwean. I'm a Nigerian.
Okay.
But a Nigerian married to a Zimbabwean lady.
Okay.
So Zimbabwe, I have a lot of interest in Zimbabwe, and that's why I actually tuned in to find out what's going on. But going back to your question, um, the simple truth is there has to be a change in the government in Zimbabwe because the present ruling class has not really been able to give the people the kind of life they deserve, and that's why you find people moving out of the country in search for greener pastures. So we just need a change. For me personally, I would want to see Mr. Chamisa there. And
You'd want to see Mr. Chamisa there. Unfortunately, I have to cut you short, but thank you very much for joining us today. And if we can move on to the next viewer there that says, Mr. Chamisa there. Unfortunately, I have to cut you short. Chinoona, thank you very much for joining us. No, we did not cut him because he said Chamisa, but we had run out of time. We heard his message. He says that he's hoping that Chamisa wins these elections. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, let us know where you're tuning in from and how you feel about this election.
I'm currently in South Africa. So as a young youth, I'm hoping for change to come ahead of us. We've been highly disappointed with the previous leaders and then the way they were treating things. So we just wish great change to come, irregardless of who is going to be elected, being the opposition party or the currently ruling party. Irregardless of that, all we need is opportunities, job opportunities, and better change, irregardless of who is in power.
You are looking for, no matter who wins this job, you're saying that what you want are better opportunities and jobs as young people. Thank you very much for that. So, I'm not going to ask you who you think is going to win, because for you, you're saying whether Emmerson Mnangagwa is re-elected, whether Chamisa wins the elections, what you want are opportunities for young people and jobs. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's move on to the next viewer. But before we do that, in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Election Room ZW here on Open Party. We are waiting for the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to begin to announce the presidential results. We have our reporters who are stationed at the command center at the HICC in Harare. And once they begin, we'll be giving you a live feed from the command center. Earlier on, I was speaking to our reporter, Mary, who says that the information department, the ZEC information department, have begun to set up their cameras. And, they've become hopeful. The event might start any moment in time. Let's move on to the next viewer. William, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Hello, thank you so much, ma'am. I'm tuning in from Canada.
And how are you feeling about these elections?
Well, we are waiting. We have been waiting since, and we are hoping that ZEC is going to do justice as far as announcing the results is concerned. Well, I am kind of like disappointed with ZEC per se. I had to say about any other parties. ZEC,
why are you disappointed with ZEC?
ZEC should represent the people. They are very aware that people will be waiting for the results, and they've been dilly-dallying and delaying with the results for a while, in which I also see it as an instrument of frustrating people. And this should stop. They should know who are they serving. They are not serving any political party. They are serving people. And with the mandate that we have given them, they should exercise their duties as per what we expect them to do for us. I mean, they have been preparing to announce presidential elections since morning. We have been waiting for 4 hours, 8.
It was since yesterday. They began the setup yesterday, and until today, we haven't. If you can round up your comments so that we can move on to the next person, but go ahead.
Yes, but we are just disappointed for them. They are a public service. They should serve the public, not the interest of the party. And the public service, they should work diligently and know that we are the people, expect them to deliver. If they are failing to deliver,
Thank you.
then that's
Thank
not.
you very Thank you very much. My apologies. We had to cut you short there. We just want to cross over to our reporter at Takunda, who's stationed at the command center. He has just informed us that they are about to start. ZEC is about to start announcing the results. So I'm not going to add you onto the stream. We will inform you a little bit later when we can do that. Right now, we want to cross over to the command center so that we can, if you can do us a favor and stop joining the stream so that we can cross over. The more you tune in, the more we're able to cross over to the live stream at the command center. So please just bear with us, just hold on, please. Don't join the link. Don't use the link to join. We will be crossing over in a second to Takunda. So in case you're just joining us, we're waiting to cross over to the HICC, where which is the command center of the Zimbabwe Election Commission. I'm going to take a short break.
Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the election dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you regional results as they come in. View voting trends from previous elections and make use of the Find My Candidate tool. Introducing our Violence Tracker, which showcases incidents of violence in this election. This can also be used as a safety tool that shows where violence is occurring and to whom. For complete results of the National Assembly and presidential results, click on the tab Election Dashboard. All information on the election dashboard is sourced as the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission publishes it. Stay informed this election through zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. Welcome to the 2023 Election Dashboard. Go to www.zimbabweelections2023.co.zw. On our homepage, you'll find the results slider, showing you
Joy, Joy, Joy. Ndio. Oh. Yes. Anduko na to.
Right. Party agents and the candidates. Sorry, that side. This side we have. everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to this momentous occasion, the announcement of presidential election results. Before any further ado, I would like to call upon the Commissioner, Dr. Njenga, to give us a word of prayer.
Ngatinamatei baba vedu vari kusoro kudenga, tinokudeedzai panguva dzemadekwana ano. Tinongotenda Mwari nechipo choupenyu chamatipa kusvika pazuva ranhasi. Vakawanda vanga vachishuvira kusvika pazuva irori Mwari, asi zvatadzikana. Saka tinongotenda nechipo ichochi. Ishe, tinoisa programu yedu mukati memaoko enyu yeannouncement of results. Mwari, tingamirai murini, zvese zvigofamba zvakanaka. Zvikuru sei Mwari, itai kuti vana venyu veZimbabwe varambe vaine runyararo kubvira zvino kusvikira nokusingaperi. Amen.
Thank you, Mashita. I'd like to call upon the Deputy Chairperson, Commissioner Ambassador Kiwa, to give us closing remarks. Let's give him a thumbs up. Thank you, Master Ceremonies, and good evening to everyone. Most welcome. The Honorable Justice Chumba, the Chairperson of the Zimbabwe Election Commission, I also recognize presidential candidates, their agents. Let me also recognize my fellow commissioners, the SEC Chief Elections Officer, election observers, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this momentous occasion on which the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is announcing the country's 2023 presidential election results. This, of course, is the culmination of a long journey that started more than 2 years ago, and it involved several electoral processes, such as the conduct of the national delimitation exercise, mobile voter registration and education exercise, the nomination processes, and the litigation processes that followed, the printing and the distribution of ballot papers. The logistical nightmare it was. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout these endeavors, the Commission's torchlight was the law. The torchlight was the law. The Commission was also guided by its mission and vision, as well as its 6 core values, which I will repeat for purposes of emphasis. And these are transparency, impartiality, independence, inclusivity, integrity, and of course, teamwork. This journey was not easy, as it had its own set of challenges. But as all of you probably know, every successful outcome comes from sweat and toil. The challenges were not insurmountable as evidence today we prevailed. Ladies and gentlemen, local authority and National Assembly election winners were announced at wards and constituency collation centers in terms of the country's laws. Their names were pasted at convenient places for the public to see. As some of you have witnessed today, the Commission invited all 11 presidential candidates and their chief elections agents to witness the collation of presidential election results from all corners of the country. If this is not a demonstration of transparency, then I probably do not know the definition of this word. As I've always said, the Commission has nothing to hide in the execution of its duties, and it is not subject to the control of anyone as outlined in the country's constitution. It's very important to note that. In this regard, the Commission would like to express its gratitude to the people of Zimbabwe for conducting themselves peacefully before and during the elections period. And it is the Commission's fervent hope and wish and prayer for peace and tranquility to prevail after the announcement of the results and forever thereafter. I wish all foreign observers a pleasant journey back to their respective countries, and hopefully they will be our guests again at future elections. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor and pleasure to call upon the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, Justice Priscilla Makanya-Chikumba, to take up the task of announcing and declaring the winner of the 2023 presidential elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson, Ambassador Kim. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly allow me to write on existing protocol in the interest of time. This is the declaration of results of the 2023 presidential election. Whereas it is provided by section 110, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act, chapter 213, that where two or more candidates for the president are validly nominated, a poll shall be taken in each constituency for the election of a president. And whereas on the 21st of June 2023, 11 candidates were nominated, namely Busha Joseph, Makamba, Free Zim Congress, Chamisa Nelson, CCC, Chikumbora Trust Tapiwa, ZCPD, Kasiamu Blessing, ZIPP, Maduku, Lavmo, MCA, Mnangagwa, Emerson, Lamuzo, ZANU-PF, Mbaikwa, Wilbert, Archibald, NPC, Uzorewa, Gwinyai, Henry, the UANC, Monzora, Douglas, Togarase, NDC, Valerio, Elizabeth, UZA, Wilson, Harry, Peter, GOP. These candidates were nominated for election to the office of president. And whereas a presidential election was conducted on 23 August 2023, and whereas the Chief Elections Officer has, in terms of Section 110, subsection 3, ascertained the results of the presidential poll, and whereas the following votes have been received by each candidate in respect of each province. Busha Joseph Makamba Free Zim Congress, 18,816 votes, which constitutes 0.4% of the vote. Chanisa Nelson CCC, 1,967,343, which constitutes 44% of the vote. Chikohora Trust Takiwa ZCPD, 10,230, which constitutes 0.2% of the vote. Kasiamu Blessing ZIPP, 13,060, constituting 0.3% of the vote. Maduku Lavmo NCA, 5,323, constituting 0.1% of the vote. Mnangagwa Emerson Dambuzo, ZANU PF, 2,350,711, constituting 52.6% of the vote. Mbaiwa Wilbert Archibald NPC, 8,883, constituting 0.6% of the vote. Valerio Elizabeth Isabel, UZA, 6,989, constituting 0.2% of the vote. Wilson Harry Peter, DOP, 6,743, constituting 0.2% of the vote. The total votes cast were 4,561,221. Total valid votes cast were 4,468,668. Total votes rejected, 92,553. Our total voter population was 6,623,511. The voter turnout was 68.9%. Now, therefore, I, Priscilla Makanyara Chigumba, the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, in terms of Section 110, subsection 3, do hereby declare that Mnangagwa Emerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF Party has received 2,350,711 votes out of 4,468,730 valid votes cast, which are more than half the number of valid votes cast in the presidential election. Therefore, Mnangagwa Emerson Dambudzo of ZANU-PF Party is declared duly elected President of the Republic of Zimbabwe with effect from 26 August 2023.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our program. Thank you.
So in case you're just joining us, you're tuned into Election Room here on Open Party. My name is Lynette Manzini, and we had just crossed over to the HICC, where the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission announced the results of the presidential elections. Let us know how you're feeling about the election results. So if, in case you didn't hear that, Emerson Mnangagwa has been announced as the winner in this election. He won this election by 52.6%, and Nelson Chamisa garnered 44% of the votes. Let us know how you are feeling. There's a mixed feeling in the studio right now. Let us know how you're feeling about this election. Only 68%. 68.9% of the voters managed to cast their votes. There were 6.6 million people who had registered to vote, but only 68% voted. And I don't know whether to begin to analyze and say maybe the delaying of ballot papers has caused this low turnout, to the polls. That's why maybe some people went back home after they were frustrated when, the polling station didn't have these ballot papers after waiting for hours on end, and only 68.9% have managed to participate in this election. We have President Joseph Makamba Busha of the Free Zim Congress. He garnered 0.04%. That's about 18,816 votes. You have Elizabeth Valerio of the United Zimbabwe Alliance. She garnered 6,989 votes, which is 0.2% of the votes. Like we were explaining earlier on, the two front runners in this race were Emerson Mnangagwa and Emerson Mnangagwa. And let's just cross over to the to the command center.
Thank you guys.
We're looking forward to this day. We believed from day one that Zimbabweans will vote wisely. President Mnangagwa has done wonders in this country in a short space of time. Look at what he has done with the roads, in the mining sector, from a 2 billion industry, 12 billion, the construction of the border post, construction of the parliament. Now we no longer have load shedding. Agriculture has been turned around. We are now food self-sufficient. And we believe that Zimbabweans voted wisely for a wise man. And we are very elated about what happened today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you have it. That's the chief election agent of Zimbabwe.
Ambutonga chamisa, ambutonga kunyeverana, ambutonga chamisa, ambutonga kunyeverana, ambutonga chamisa, ambutonga kunyeverana, ambutonga chamisa, ambutonga kunyeverana, ambutonga chamisa.
Zvinore kumadzimai zvinoreva kuti tava nekuchengetedzwa kwakanyanya-nyanya nokuti purezidendi vari kumira nemadzimai. Mukatarisa iye zvino kune kota yemadzimai, koita kota kanzo yemadzimai, zvese vari kungotarisa madzimai. Motarisa nyaya yekurima chaiyo, vari kupa pfumvudza kumadzimai dzingorashirikadzi asisi kugona navamunangari. Tine mufaro tiri kureva kuti semadzimai tava kuramba tichingosimudzirwa vachitirangarira isisi madzimai. Tiri kutenda zvakanyanya.
Madzimai matatu anga achiwina mapato madzimai anokwanisa
mubato redu rezanzi efama munowanikwa mune madzimai matatu awanikwa achiwina. Zviri kureva kuti madzimai vakuchitaka kutosimuka nokuti pesa pataingofungidzira kuti aiwa ndezvevarume chete. Saka isisi izvozvo kuti madzimai akukwidze zvakatanga nesisi zanzi. Saka hapana chakaipa kumadzimai matatu. Makore anotevera takuramba tichitosimuka kuti madzimai apinde kumacontestations. Those are my Mkarati.
Just briefly nechishona mulambotaura nesu nechishona ngoti munonzwa sei?
Aiwa, nhasi tiri kufara zvakanyanyisa kuti mhuri yeZimbabwe yaratidza rutsigiro rukuru kuna purezidendi vedu baba Mnangagwa. Takatenderera nyika yese, makavaona vachitenderera maprovhinsi ese vachikurukura nevanhu maringe nebasa ravakaita makore mashanu apfuura. Basa rinooneka, migwagwa, magetsi aveko, paramendi itsva, kuagriculture taani matura medu maane zvekudya, kumining yavandudzwa, yakuratidza kudadisa. Saka izvi zvapa mukuru wedu manyukunyuku ekuti varambe vachititungamirira, varambe vachiita kuti tiwane pundutso senyika yeZimbabwe.
Honorable Ziyambi, muri kudzoka here kuparliament?
Aiwa, ina handisi kudzoka kuparliament ka. Mubvunzo wako pavanevaanaunswa hapanga pasina inini, asi bato redu radzoka kuparliament zvine mutsindo. You do need 2/3 to govern.
Mr. Ziyambi, do you still have time for it?
No, I will not create. Because you are draining all the little energy that is left.
Glass. Sorry, boss.
For papers registrations, to open the issue together. Are we banned? Man, I think
no, kandawe. Kandichenda. Unozonditozeti.
More reactions from those election results. We got it just now, but just looking back at how this election came about, all the preparation that went into what we heard today with regards to the presidential results. Justice Minister Ziambi is with us here to speak to us. Minister, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it. I know you're very tired. You've done a lot of preparation, so we appreciate you speaking to us. Just your overall thoughts of how Zimbabweans handled this election, and particularly Zimbabweans themselves and how they conducted themselves.
I think Zimbabweans must be applauded for the peaceful environment that prevailed pre-election period when we were campaigning, during the day of elections and post-election day. I think this is one of the most peaceful elections that we have witnessed in this country, save for a few incidences here and there. But I believe our people have shown maturity in that even when in certain areas when ballots were late, they remained calm and there were no incidences at all. So we believe that our people must be congratulated for this peaceful environment that we enjoy.
The ZDC mentioned they had some logistical difficulties leading up to this election. As the Justice Department, do you liaise with the ZDC when preparing for these elections? How is there any assistance to make sure that the process is much smoother?
Save for engaging the Ministry of Finance for resources to be availed to them. The moment that we start getting into their work, that will be interference. We do not get involved in that unless if there is need to ensure that resources are expedited.
And finally, it would be remiss for me not to ask you this as we wrap up this election, as it has wrapped up. There's been quite a bit of criticism with how it was run. You gave out a very strong worded warning to those that have observed this election and perhaps, like you said, overstepped their boundaries. Going forward, how do you embrace that kind of feedback, and how should Zimbabwe or the Zimbabwean government embrace it?
I think going forward, it will be left to the head of state to ensure that if we are in SADC and observers are coming, they're not coming here to attack our laws, to attack our judiciary as if they know the conditions of service of our judiciary, or to parrot things that are not connected to elections. We believe that as a community in SADC, when we say come and observe, they come to observe so that they can enhance our processes and we improve our processes within the region. So we believe that it's an issue that will be left to heads of state to interrogate and ensure that such incidences do not happen.
Minister Ziambi, thank you so much for your time. We certainly appreciate it. The Justice Minister there just giving us his reaction with regards to all the criticism as well that has come from their counterpart.
Amwite.
Are you curious about how election results are verified in Zimbabwe? Well, here's a little breakdown. The V11 form is an original document showing the results from each polling station, signed off by all agents of all contesting parties present at that station. At the first level, results for each polling station for each of the 3 elections, councillor, MP, and president, will be compiled and posted outside polling stations on V11s. There is one V11 for each election. For councillor, all the V11s for the ward will be added together at the ward centre, and the winning councillor will be known. For MP and president, the V11s are collated into V23As at the ward centre and sent on to the constituency command centre. From here, the V23B is compiled, which takes the MP and presidential results from all wards in the constituency. The results from the V23Bs are what is used to identify the winning elected MPs. Presidential V23Bs are then collated onto V23Cs at provincial command centers and sent on to the national command center, where they're entered onto the V23D, the presidential election results summary form. If candidates wish to make sure that the final result has not been tampered with after the observed count, the V11s from each polling station become an essential piece of the puzzle. A discrepancy between these forms and the announced results can demonstrate malpractice. We'd like to thank Kubatana for helping us with this breakdown. Are you curious about how election results are verified in Zimbabwe? Well, here's a little breakdown. The V11 form is an original document showing the results from each polling station, signed off by all agents of all contesting parties present at that station. At the first level, results for each polling station for each of the 3 elections, councillor, MP, and president, will be compiled and posted outside polling stations on V11s. There is one V11 for each election. For councillor, all the V11s for the ward will be added together at the ward centre, and the winning councillor will be known. For MP and president, the V11s are collated into V23As at the ward centre and sent on to the constituency command centre. From here, the V23B is compiled, which takes the MP and presidential results from all wards in the constituency. The results from the V23Bs are what is used to identify the winning elected MPs. Presidential V23Bs are then collated onto V23Cs at provincial command centers and sent on to the national command center, where they're entered onto the V23D, the presidential election results summary form. If candidates wish to make sure that the final result has not been tampered with after the observed count, the V11s from each polling station become an essential piece of the puzzle. A discrepancy between these forms and the announced result can demonstrate malpractice. We'd like to thank Kubatana for helping us with this breakdown. Are you curious about how election results